Love is Blind Season 8 is starting to pick up. We finally make it to the pod meetup, and one couple bows out 2 weeks before the altar. In the last batch of episodes, a few of you said that you thought Dave might be basically fabricating this entire thing about his sister and his friend group. As in, y'all think that's just how he feels, and neither his sister nor his friends have said anything about Lauren and have nothing against meeting her, like they actually want to meet her. And basically that he's using them as a scapegoat, which would explain why they keep, or why he keeps, calling off the meetings, because if they were to meet, there would be no tension, there would be no drama. And I see the theory in that. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I could see that being the case, but we're probably never gonna find out, because I believe that Dave is the type of person to not even show up to the reunion. We really might never see this man again. On the other hand, I do believe that Dave's loved ones are actually as intense as he says that they are. Especially when it comes to his sister, because he's been talking about his sister the entire time, like since the pod episodes. So unless he was setting it up to use his sister as a scapegoat, that's probably not the case. And I don't know if he said this is his older sister or not, but she gives very older sister vibes. Like she's trying to protect him and all of this. Maybe he's the only boy of the family. I don't know. Now listen, the majority of y'all think that he values his sister's opinion way too much. And maybe he does, but I'm gonna be honest, I might be in the minority when I say that I'm on the fence on if he does or not. When he was at the pod mixer and he was talking to Molly and he said, oh yeah, my sister said, okay, you can go on the show.
She was like not a fan of me doing this at all.
Yeah.
I finally like got her to come around and be like, okay, you can go. Not that like she controls my life, but
I did pause because I was like, why is your sister giving you the okay to go on this show? You're a grown ass man of 32 years old. So maybe your sister is a little bit too involved in your love life. But then he was saying that his sister said he never talks to her about his love life, and I guess she's not that involved. So I don't really know. That's why the scapegoat theory does kind of make sense, because maybe he is just using her in that way. But on the other hand, I'm just like, maybe him and his sister are really close, and who am I to judge that? I do think that his sister wants to set him up with one of her friends because he said that she said that, and I could see that being a thing. And yeah, I see both sides. I really can't fault the man for having a relationship with his sister, even if I or you think that is too much of a relationship or think that she has too much say in what he does. Clearly, he cares about his sister a lot. Hey y'all, it's Nae. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Love is Blind Season 8, episodes 10 through 12. So if you haven't seen them yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on episodes 10 through 12, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like before you go so I know you enjoyed it. If you want to keep in touch after this video, feel free to head on over to my Discord server. It's a place for us to chit chat outside of YouTube, and it's free, so why not? The link is in the description box. Now, don't come at me, because I am well aware that I have not been on Discord this entire season. But in my defense, there wasn't much happening this season. There still isn't much happening this season. Y'all know, y'all been watching, or some of y'all haven't been watching. Y'all know how this season is going. However, I will be there holding the watch party for the reunion. We're going to do that regardless. So I believe they announced it. It's going to be on, what they say, March 9th? I think they said March 9th. Yeah. Yeah, so the reunion is going to be March 9th. I believe it's 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So I will be on Discord holding a watch party for the reunion so that we can watch it together. We could chat while it's happening. I do it every season. It's always a vibe, so come through. But yeah, I know we don't really like Dave because of his personality and some of the things that he said about Lauren because of her age early on in the pods, which if she didn't say anything about that, girl, I can't help you. But I know that we don't like him because of that. But hear me out. Let me cook. I kind of agree with him when he says this.
it's hard to go past it when the guy is like still texting you, trying to talk and hang out.
He's not texting me trying
A week
to talk
ago he
and hang out.
was.
Yeah, when we first got back.
Yeah.
Because he was like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, and I was not responding to
And
him.
why do you think he was trying to figure out what's going on?
Because he had a different interpretation of our time.
He did. Because you didn't officially end anything. Did you guys hook up within 2 days before the experiment?
No, we did not.
Well, okay.
A week before.
Hooking up with someone a week before the experiment is kind of a different story than Lauren originally said. She was trying to make it seem like this guy was like a nobody, and she damn near didn't remember who he was. Now all of a sudden, oh, well, we didn't sleep together 2 days before. It was a week before. And it's like, girl, that's not what you said before. I mean, she technically did not say it, but she also didn't say it. So, and as we know, they did decide to split, although Dave tried to spin the block at the pod mixer. Before their split, though, I was really sitting there trying to figure out why in the hell Dave was even meeting Lauren's mom. And then he ended up meeting her dad, too, just off cam. He was not trying to fix any of this with her. He was out with his boys and apparently running into the pod pod crew, which they keep saying that Minneapolis is a small town, is big city, small town vibes, but I guess. Lauren kept saying that they had spoken to each other about how they individually problem solve. And I was just like, girl, he does not want to problem solve. It is clear as day. You were really the only one trying here. When they met up with her mom, Lauren was trying to rationalize this whole thing by being like,
I signed up to do this. You signed up to do this.
Families.
Our families are Midwest people who, like, this doesn't happen to people like us.
it don't have anything to do with the fact that y'all small town Midwest people. They just don't like you. Like, this this has nothing to do with any of this. Either they don't like you or Dave just don't like you, and again, he is looking for an out. Midwest or not, they hate this entire situation. So much so that they didn't even want to show up on camera at all. And it's very clear that Dave's circle is small, and at the end of the day, his friends and his sister feel like Lauren is homie hopping. Even though she didn't know that she was going to end up meeting Dave in the pods, they feel like she went from one friend to another friend. And I guess it's I would say it's bro code, but really it's kind of anybody's code, right? Why would you date and or marry someone who your friend or acquaintance dated? Like, that's kind of weird, right? So for me, that's really what I think it boils down to. And then Dave had this whole thing about his dad being too busy to even go to the wedding, so he's not even sure he would show up. And then he tried to run it back and be like, no, he'll totally come. And it's like, no, he wasn't.
My dad travels a lot right now. He's a big warm weather guy.
Yeah.
And he golfs a lot. I don't even know if he can make it.
But you're okay with that, right?
No, he will.
Okay.
He'll definitely be there.
We have met no one from your side, not a friend, not a dog, not a cat. So I think it's very clear that no one from Dave's immediate circle, or apparently even loosely related circle, was going to show up on this show. I think it's great that Lauren stood her ground when Dave tried to be like, oh, well, maybe we could give it another try. I think it's great that she was like, no, we're good now. And honestly, that's great news for Molly, because I think she was trying to shoot her shot at Lauren.
Should we just keep dating people?
No,
Same person?
we can't do that. We've learned our lesson.
Now let's talk about this Sara and Ben situationship. That's what I'm calling it. And y'all let me know if more about this has come out. But at the time of this recording, this is pretty much all the info I have on this whole TikTok situation. If you haven't seen the video, this is it.
So someone just leaked to me some of the photos of the cast of the new season of Love is Blind that they're filming here in Minneapolis. And like, I knew when I heard that they were filming here, in my stomach, that I would recognize some of the names on that list. And I would have some information on those boys. Because you know what? Minneapolis is a big city, small town sort of vibe where everyone knows each other. And the dating pool here is very, very small. I'm just exhausted and tired of society rewarding shitty men who treat women terribly and manipulate and lie all the time. Maybe we can just not reward people who are like that, who have harmed people in their past. And I know this is a vast overreaction, and unfortunately, probably for legal reasons, I shouldn't say exactly who it is. This is what reality television is supposed to be, right? Horrible people.
And earlier this week, Sara sat down with US Weekly to go into a bit more detail about it, although she didn't really have much more because Ben didn't tell her anything, apparently.
At the brewery, that's when I saw the TikTok for the first time. Once filming was done at the brewery, I go up to him and I show him. I'm like, is this about you? And so he watches it. We had to go back to the apartment and film.
Right.
And that's the hard thing of like, yeah, we had to like introduce the TikTok again. And so when he was saying he doesn't remember, it's like, okay, then you need to tell me at least off camera what you do remember. And he didn't tell me anything anyway.
So that whole scene where she pretended to find out about it when they were sitting on the sofa was obviously a reshoot. It's exactly the same thing that they did last season with Tyler and Ashley when they pretended that he told her about his 2 kids when they were also sitting on the sofa in the apartment, even though we know from her mouth and from the way that it read on camera that that was not the first time that she heard that. In regards to that TikTok, I'm not really seeing why it's that bad. I didn't see not one tear come down that woman's face, although I did see, you know, some watery eyes. I didn't see not one tear. And I really need my boy I Be Chillin' to get over here and talk about this, because he stay calling out people for their tearless cries, which is exactly what she was given. It's like she was trying to work herself up that entire video, but it just wasn't happening. And I cut a little bit of the video because it was like over a minute long, but I'll link the full thing below so you can go check it out for yourself. Now, when I went to go pull that video from TikTok, I saw that there were more videos that she had posted. I'm going to link a couple of them below, and one of them has major spoilers for the outcome of the show, so I am going to mark that watch at your own risk because now I know how it ends. But there was another video of her. I'm going to boil this down to right message, wrong messenger. There's something about this girl on TikTok, and I don't know what it is. I'm just judging her based on how it's reading on camera. There's something about her that feels inauthentic, and when I see her say what she said in that first video I posted, and when you watch this second video that I'm about to post, she kind of insinuates that she was taken advantage of by Ben because she was young. She talks about how, oh, well, I was super young in college and he was a lot older. And it's like, okay, girl, you know, you were 18 and in college, and I'm gonna take a guess that if he was in college, then he was between the ages of 18 and 22. And, you know, he's not a 40-year-old man. I'm just not getting the vibe that, like, he manipulated her and took advantage of her the way that she's trying to insinuate that he did. So that didn't rub me the right way, because we live in a society of believe all women, and all women should not be believed, and really no one should be believed until there's proof. And more specifically, no one should be crucified until there's proof, because we tend to hear something and run with it, and then it comes out later and it's not the same energy that you had when you were blaming someone. You don't have that same energy with the apology. Something about this woman just feels inauthentic. That probably is an unpopular opinion. I know there are very much a lot of people who do subscribe to the believe all women all the time thing, but I don't know, I just can't get behind something like this without some solid proof. Even if Ben did treat her like an asshole or dumped her or whatever, chalk it up to college and keep it pushing. She also goes on to say that she wanted to make sure it was Ben in the leaked photos that she got, so she blocked him on every platform except one platform, and she knew that it was him because she got a notification saying that he blocked her. I'm not on every single social media platform. I don't have a TikTok, I don't have Snapchat, I'm not on X, so maybe I'm just not familiar, but I can't think of a time where someone has blocked me on social media and I got a notification saying that I was blocked. So if you guys know of any apps that will alert you when someone blocks you, let me know, because I just can't think of any. And that's just another piece of her story that I'm like, it doesn't add up. I am totally okay with being wrong about something. I will admit that I was wrong about it. But until I get some solid evidence either way on this girl just seems like a bitter Betty to me.
So because I wanted to be sure that was him in the photo, I blocked him on everywhere except for one specific platform, and what do you know, after I upload that video, I get a little ding, he's blocked me, so that confirms that it was him in the photo. I was very young, I was new to the college campus, he was a whole lot older, and that really shaped, like, the way I viewed men and dating going forward in a very formative experience.
But yeah, it felt very overdramatic. It didn't really seem that damning to me, to be honest. She seemed like a woman who probably liked Ben a little bit more than he liked her, and she's still upset about it. And whether it was 1 year, 2 year, 3 or 4 years ago, I think it's time for her to move the hell on. And I think she just wanted to have some type of connection to someone on the show, because she said, oh, well, I knew when I heard that they were going to be filming in Minneapolis that I was going to have tea on someone. Okay, so that means you went into it looking to have tea on someone. Like, girl, let's stop. All of that aside, Sara and Ben to me seem like two puzzle pieces that just don't fit. And I think that Sara's sister is absolutely correct.
I caution you, as your sister, it just is not real right now.
Love is Blind is not real life. In a couple of weeks, these cameras are gonna go. You're gonna have to move in back to your regular houses, or figure out how to move together, or figure out how to live separately. The pressure of completing the show is going to be done, and you're going to come back down to reality, into real life. And then what's going to happen then? This whole beginning honeymoon infatuation stage is going to end, and y'all need to make sure that y'all still going to be good after that. What's going to happen when you have to live with each other alone, no camera crew, and all of a sudden you don't like that he leaves his clothes in piles, and I don't know, he doesn't like that you wake up early and it wakes him up? What's going to happen when that's the case? Or even more importantly, with these two, a moral level. They don't morally agree on things. I have literally never seen someone look more uncomfortable in church. I mean, she was sitting there like she was the biggest sinner. And not saying that she is, but like that's how uncomfortable she felt. She kept touching her hair. She was looking down. She kept moving around. Like she did not want to be there. And even though afterwards she said, oh, well, I can maybe see myself coming back, she still like clearly was uncomfortable. If he's getting up every Sunday and going to service, what are you just going to be like, bye, honey? Like, no, you guys clearly don't agree on that. And then she said even after that, she listened to a service that they had and she didn't like that they were like dancing around gay marriage or whatever they were doing. Like they wouldn't explicitly, I guess, condemn people who are homophobic or whatever, which I don't know why she would be expecting a church to do that anyway. But she said she didn't like the service and she doesn't know if she would feel comfortable returning there on a regular basis, but she would go for holidays or special occasions, basically. That's not Ben's life. Ben is an avid every Sunday churchgoer. How is that going to work out? His family was literally praying over him before he walked down the aisle.
I want to say one more thing is you have been prayed over and prayed for more than you could ever know. So God's hand's on you. So keep your eyes on him.
And that means absolutely nothing to Sara. So how are they gonna, I just can't see them connecting. Like I said, two puzzle pieces that do not fit together. I'm not saying that she has to be the most religious person, but if she's gonna marry someone who is an every Sunday churchgoer, then she needs to be an every Sunday churchgoer, because someone's faith is just not something they're gonna bend on. So you have to know going into that as the less religious one that you're probably gonna have to like go most Sundays and be okay with going most Sundays. For example, I am not an avid churchgoer. If I was with someone who wanted to go to church every Sunday, I would go. But I actually loosely dated a guy, because we didn't really date because my mom didn't let me date, and I don't think his parents was letting him date either. But in high school, dated a guy who was a preacher's son. So very obviously, if you are the son of a preacher, of a pastor, you're in the church 24/7. Like, forget just Sundays, you there all the time. And I was going to church with him every single Sunday. I was going to church outside of Sunday hours because that's what he did. And like, I was okay with it because obviously, you know, I'm not, Sarah's on a whole different level. Like, she doesn't, I think she probably doesn't even believe in God. So it's just going to be really hard for her to do that. And I feel like you would have to be okay with that if your husband is someone who's going to be getting up and putting on his Sunday best every week. What happens when you guys have kids? He's probably going to want his kids to go to church. Probably going to want his kids to get baptized. How are you guys going to compromise on that? That's not something you can really compromise on. I don't really know. But I will say that I did love the wedding dress that she picked. I love the lace. I thought it was really beautiful, very gorgeous. And I do think that they had the best final date of the season. It was outdoorsy. It was whimsical. It was very fairy vibes, very cottagecore. I love the idea of spending the night like in the forest somewhere. However, I do not love the idea of bears, so that would probably keep me from doing it. But it looks really pretty and it looks like a vibe and it looks really relaxing. Additionally, Ben is clumsy as hell. He done knocked over 2 cups this season. Let's talk about Devin and Virginia. Is my girl Elise in the room with us? You took me all the way out when you said that Virginia is a personality-free zone, because oh my God, my good sis is a little flavorless. And a few of y'all also pointed out the fact that she has this kind of baby voice thing going on, which I didn't consciously pick up on, but subconsciously I was like, I wonder if that's her real voice. It's very soft-spoken. It's very, oh my God, I love that.
So cute.
And I love you in basketball. So.
I love that.
And that very well could be her real voice. But what I think is happening is she is code switching and forgetting to turn it off. Like, that's probably her doctor voice. That's probably her bedside manner. And she just hasn't figured out that she don't have to talk like that. I'm not saying Virginia, you know, grew up in the hood and has like a more ethnic tone, because her mom doesn't even seem like that. But the very soft baby voice does just seem a little off. But, you know, I don't want to judge. If that is her voice, then more power to her. It just seems a little weird. I do think we did get a little bit more Virginia's sassier side when her mom was saying that she can be stubborn and she gave a bombastic side eye.
This one can be stubborn sometime.
When it comes to these two, I love the viewpoint that they both have on long-term relationships.
As we grow and get older, not only are we going to change as a couple, but we're going to change as people. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, and I'm sure Virginia's not the same as she was.
So what if you change and what do you change?
I think we should expect each other to change. I think it would be a bad thing if we didn't change. I think going into marriage, you expect to grow with somebody.
Yes, people are definitely going to change and grow, and you have to be aware of that and know that you're also going to change and grow too. And you have to be ready to change and grow with them, and or admit that you guys have changed and grow apart and the implications that that may hold. I'm really also sitting here thinking that good old Virginia knows something that we don't know.
Is there anything we need to like talk about before we get married? Like any lingering? Definitely don't feel like I've been holding anything back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like nothing that I need to tell you that I've been like, I'm afraid to tell him this.
Like, girl, you've been holding everything back. Unless you are having full-length, deep, emotional conversations with Devin off cam, this man don't know any more about you than we know. Nathan, not a damn thing. And honestly, I do think that this is the exact moment where Devin started to question her.
Gay people should have rights. All those things. So,
I'm not gonna say this man is homophobic. I would never put that label on anybody if it's unwarranted, and I don't know this man. But what I will say is that he seems very uncomfortable around anything that has to do with homosexuality. And then they also don't agree on abortion rights, which is a huge deal. I think that that is a fundamental belief system, and honestly, I agree with Virginia.
The man and the woman that the situation is happening, if she's pregnant and they're deciding what to do with it, it should be both.
Oh, you
both
mean
of them
he should have?
decide.
He should be able to say his opinion.
Yeah, his opinion on it.
Regardless, women should have the choice.
Yeah.
To do what they want with their bodies.
And when Devin said this,
I'm not super big into politics. I don't have a strong stance on it, if I'm being honest. But
we already know that that means that it leans conservative. And I think based on that alone, this is not going to work out. Political differences in a relationship can be okay if, like, the differences are, I don't think property taxes should fund public schools, and your partner's stance is, I do think that property taxes should fund public school. But if the differences are, you as a woman believe my body, my choice, and your husband as a man believes your body, my choice, how are we going to come together on that? And that shapes the way that you view the rest of the world, and that's when it becomes important. Like, you really sitting here telling me that I'm supposed to sit at a dinner table with your family on November 24th and kiki with them over turkey? Meanwhile, they just voted against my human rights on November 3rd? Hard pass. On top of that, I don't think that Devin wanted this prenup. I realize that he did end up signing it, but they're still not married, so it doesn't really mean anything yet. I think that his conservative values won't really let him go through with a marriage that has a prenup in it. It just, I don't know, it seems like that goes directly against conservative values. And here's the thing, right? People are very nuanced, very complicated, and we all have a range of things that we are. I consider myself to be conservative in some areas of relationships, in the sense that, like, I'm not taking the trash out if there's a man in the house. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's a man's job. I think men should be providers. And so, like, I am traditional and more, I guess, conservative aligned in that way. I can never see myself getting an abortion, but I want to vote for other people's right to be able to do that. And so I think that people can be nuanced. However, it's going to be very hard because Devin is saying that he comes from a conservative family. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that his values skew conservatively, and he just doesn't want to say it. Now, let's get into these couples that don't really have too much going on drama-wise. Monica and Joey, they are bold as hell for letting Monica's sister take pictures of them. She probably did some voodoo over the film or over the SanDisk card before she took the pictures. I don't trust her. I would not trust her. And I don't believe her apology. Talking about she thought Joey was fake because he was too happy. Girl, you're just miserable. And then we have Taylor and Daniel, who are just vibing. They just coasting through the rest of this season. They remind me of, oh, I forget. Y'all know I don't remember names. Once the season is over, I purge all that. But the couple from last season, the Asian girl and, like, the tall, what was the guy? Like a rocket scientist? Literally, like he was a rocket scientist or something? It reminds me of them. Like, they locked in pretty early on and they coasted through the rest of the season. I think the girl's name was Taylor, but I don't remember the guy's name. But anyway, Daniel and Taylor remind me of them. They said, we've been locked in since day one. Season to be over so we can start life. Let's talk about this meetup very briefly before we get into some wedding predictions. Meg and Mason walking together. I love that for them. They meet up after the pause. They have a reveal. Turns out they really like each other. They seem pretty locked in. I love to see it. I know they weren't an official couple of the season, but I do hope that we get some form of an update from them during the reunion. And then there's some kind of something going on with Madison and Alex. One of y'all, I saw yesterday, one of y'all left a comment and it said, Alex is a predator, allegedly, and preys on vulnerable girls. Yep, Madison did nothing wrong. Now, I'm not on TikTok, which is where a lot of this stuff usually comes out, but Storytime with Ricky, I hope I said your name right, girl, did cover this situation in a lot of detail, so I'm just gonna tag her channel. And I also will say, Alex, and there's some pretty damning evidence that he has basically engaged in CSA, and if you don't know what the C stands for, it's childhood, so like child SA. Video's triggering. I'm not covering it because it's triggering for me, but I will leave it below if you want to look more into the situation. But that's pretty much as far as I'm going to go on it. But Storytime with Ricky did a great job on getting y'all a lot of screenshots and receipts, so check the video out. Brittany told Devin that she thinks everybody is a little gay, and he gave a nervous laugh and a look like, girl, don't even say no shit like that.
Bruh, everybody a little gay. No.
And that's exactly why I say he seems uncomfortable even with the idea or the topic of anything that has to do with homosexuality. So I know that he leans conservative because that tends to be a more conservative ideology. As far as wedding predictions, Dave and Lauren not happening, they already split. Sara and Ben, I think they're both going to say yes, but I think they shouldn't. Devin and Virginia, I also think they're both going to say yes, but I think they shouldn't. And I also do see a world where Virginia says yes and Devin says no. Like I said, because of that prenup and because of the conservative values. Not I'm hungry. And shit, I guess I see a world where Virginia says no, but not really. I see her saying yes. Monica and Joey, they're going to say yes and they should. Taylor and Daniel, they're going to say yes and they should. The pacing of this entire season has felt off. I feel it. I know that y'all feel it. I think the majority of people and the overall consensus is that the pacing was off. Other things were off. Half of the season, right? There are 12 episodes of the season, not counting the wedding because that's not, I don't really consider that like that's the end of the show. 12 episodes in this season. Literally half of them. 6 episodes were in the pods. Why? I love the pods more than anybody else. We don't need 6 hours of pods. I just don't understand whose call it was to have 6 hours of the pods. Ridiculous. We don't need that again next season. If y'all have already done the final cut of season 9 and there are 6 hours of the pods, go ahead and run that back, dial that back to about 2.5. I feel like we got to the wedding dresses really quickly, but also everything else lasted forever. And so it wasn't that quick, and I think again that's a testament to the fact that the pacing was off. Because I'm gonna be honest, half of the audience done fell asleep this season, myself included, and I'm trying to take notes on this stuff and I'm finding myself dozing off, then I gotta run it back, and it's the whole thing is like we don't need all this. I know we said that we wanted more time with the couples and all of this, and I saw another YouTuber say this. Netflix overcorrected, okay? They started off not showing us enough, then we were like, we want a little bit more love, and then they said, oh, y'all want a little bit more love, and they overdid it. Let's just find a good medium. You know, let's find a good medium. I don't know. Maybe they need to go film in Vegas or something, have people get married on a strip, something. Like, we need something after this season. In any event, I will see y'all here next week for these weddings. And don't forget, I'm going to be holding a watch party for the reunion March 9th in my Discord server. So make sure you join so that we can all watch it together. And until then, I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Okay, yes, let's address the elephant in the room. I am wearing my Vlogmas sweater. But literally, when I looked into my closet this morning and I was like, what should I wear for this video? This just called my name, so we're vlogmasing. We're gonna vlogmas it up in whatever month this is, February. Ooh, I should know that. I should know it's February. But oh, let's talk about the other elephant in the room. See, this is what happens when you sleep with, damn, I really messed myself up. I slept with my without cleaning my face, and I had sunscreen on, and it's really like oily, greasy, and yeah, so luckily my hair is out today. Just pretend you can't see that. What time is it? It is 6:13. 6:13. I'm hungry. I'll get some breakfast or something. Little breakfaroni, little brekkie. All right, go ahead and end this and put my hair back up and call it a day. What was those people's names? Tyler. Funny enough, I am not an average church, or not average. Oh, he done knocked over. I'm not ashy today, right? It's a struggle every time. All right, let's get into it. That was cat hair. They just announced it yesterday. Reunion announcement.
Guys, don't worry. This is announcement. Babe, they haven't.
Yeah, March 9th. Individually.